They say pain often arrives quietly, not with a shout or a storm, but with a single envelope sliding through your mail slot. My name is Jonathan Price. I'm a 52-year-old civil engineer, and if you told me a year ago that a wedding invitation would feel like a severed artery, I would have laughed it off. But that's how it happened. Not in a fight, not through distance or neglect, but through a card in the mail that made everything I thought was solid start to dissolve. Her name is Lily, my daughter, born when I was 28, back when Megan, her mother, and I were still believing in forever. Our marriage didn't fall apart because of betrayal or bitterness. It was quieter than that, a slow unraveling of connection. By the time it ended, Lily was 5, wide-eyed and soft-spoken, with curls that bounced when she ran. We tried to shield her from the fallout. I had her on alternating weekends, holidays, school breaks. I went to every recital, every parent-teacher conference, every doctor's appointment. I cheered from bleachers, clapped the loudest at spelling bees. I taught her how to ride a bike, watched her stumble through Heartbreak, helped her pack for college. I paid her tuition, covered her braces, supported her every way I knew how. It wasn't always easy. Sometimes it meant saying no to myself, but it never felt like a burden. Years after the divorce, Megan remarried. His name was Alan. He was quiet, stable, polite, the kind of man who wore crisp shirts and never missed a Sunday game. He and Lily built their own bond over time, and I was okay with that. I wanted her to feel full, like she didn't have to choose. I truly believed she understood that love didn't need to be divided to be complete. Then one afternoon, a cream-colored envelope arrived. Heavy stock, thick calligraphy. I recognized her handwriting instantly, still the same loops and curves from her childhood birthday cards. I smiled at first, touched by the thought of being invited. Then I read the line at the top. Mr. and Mrs. Alan Whitaker request the honor of your presence at the wedding of their daughter, Lily Whitaker. I read it again, and again. Not Lily Price, not even a hyphen, just gone. My hands shook. I sat at the kitchen table, the envelope spread open like a wound. It wasn't anger that came first. It was absence. A deep, vacuumed emptiness that pulled the breath from my chest. That evening I texted her. Got the invite. Surprised by the name. Can we talk? No reply. 3 days later I called Megan. Her tone was overly cautious, too rehearsed. She made that decision a while ago, she said. It wasn't meant to hurt you. She just wanted to feel part of the family she built with us. Not personal, she said. Like I was an extra from the first act, now edited out of the final scene. Like my name didn't belong in her story anymore. That weekend, I sat down and wrote a letter. Not out of anger, not to blame or manipulate, but because I had nowhere else to place the ache. Lily, I got your invitation, and it caught me off guard, not because you're getting married, but because of what it didn't say. You changed your name, and never told me. I'm not hurt because you love your stepfather. I'm glad he's been kind to you. I'm hurt because I spent 25 years being your dad, really being there, and somehow that no longer matters. I didn't expect to be honored, but I never thought I'd be erased. You're allowed to choose the name you carry, but that doesn't mean you get to rewrite where you came from. I won't be attending, not because I want to punish you, but because I need peace. Take care of yourself, Dad. I turned off my phone and left town for a few days. Went up into the mountains. No service. No distractions. Just wind and solitude. When I returned, there were messages. Dozens. Megan. Friends. And finally, Lily. Her first message hit hard. You're overreacting. It's just a name. Alan's done more for me than you ever have. Then came a voicemail. Her voice, shaken, cracked with tears. Dad, I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought it would make things simpler. Easier for Mom. For Alan. I didn't think you'd care this much. I do now. I'm sorry. Please don't shut me out. But something inside me had shifted. It wasn't about the name. Not anymore. It was about being erased the moment I no longer fit the picture she wanted to present. About becoming invisible when it was inconvenient to remember me. Her wedding day came and went. I wasn't there. I spent the day with my brother fixing the old boat we'd always talked about restoring. We drank, talked, watched the water. It was peaceful. Later, I saw the wedding photos online. She was radiant, standing beside Alan, her arm looped through his, the caption beneath glowing. Lily Whitaker and Benjamin Hart. A new beginning. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just closed the app and sat in the quiet. Weeks passed. Then she reached out again. She asked to meet for coffee. Said she wanted to talk. Really talk. Not through text, not through a voicemail. But I had already let go. I told her I loved her. Always would. But I wouldn't keep stepping into a space where I was only welcome when it suited the narrative. I had been a good father, not perfect but present, and I wouldn't apologize for that. She cried, begged. I stayed quiet. Later, a mutual friend told me she was expecting her first child, that she'd started looking through old photos and school projects, that she asked for the letter I'd written when she left for college. Maybe she was remembering. Maybe regret had begun to bloom. But I didn't chase her. Then, a few weeks ago, another envelope arrived. No return address, but I knew the handwriting immediately. Inside was a short letter. Dad, I don't know if you'll ever read this. I was scared. I thought if I made things look easier, they would be. That maybe I could press pause on the painful parts and keep moving. But I see now I erased the one person who never left. Alan didn't replace you. I did that. You weren't perfect, but you were there. And I see now how rare that is. Miss you. Lily. I haven't written back. Not yet. But I folded the letter and placed it in a small wooden box. The one filled with stick figure drawings, glitter-covered Father's Day cards, and a crumpled note that once read, I love you, Daddy. Forever. That's where it belongs, part of the story. Sometimes I walk the lake trail near home, and in those quiet moments, I imagine her again. Not the woman in a white dress, but the little girl in rain boots asking if ducks could be pets. That version of her is easier to forgive. And if one day she really wants to know me, not out of guilt, not out of duty, but because she's ready, I'll be here. Not waiting, just living.